Welcome, y'all! That's right. This is the Pregame Engineer Tailgate Mayor Racing Podcast, episode number 59, Friday, August 19th, 2016. I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace. I'm joined, as always, by Pregame Engineer Andrew Sherwin in the mobile podcast studio in Bristol, Tennessee. It's Bristol, baby!
Yeah, this is the second annual in campground live on location podcast that we've done. I don't know that we've gotten a whole lot better than the last time, but maybe. We do have a guest this time, which is different.
We got 100% better. We got a special guest.
Maybe that's infinity better since we had zero last time.
That's true.
I think technically, guys, you got 50% better. If you want me to just break it down, technicality there.
We're welcoming onto the show the driver of the number 44 Diamond Gusset Jeans Chevrolet, Mr. Tommy Joe Martins from the Truck Series. Tommy Joe, what's happening, man?
Not much, guys. Just hanging out. Just got back from Bristol late last night there, so kind of getting adjusted back to Vegas time out here on the West Coast. Didn't have the best week there in Bristol. Kind of a tough day for us, but always good to be joining you guys.
Well, there's one thing. If you've had a tough week, and we always start the podcast off the same way, and you know what's coming.
Particularly on a Friday night.
Mr. Tommy, what you drinking?
I'm drinking a Kona Big Wave, boys. I couldn't be talking to you guys if I was drinking a beer.
Attaboy. That's a lot closer to you than it is us, the old Kona Brewing Company. So
I love Kona.
Absolutely. That's fantastic.
Their pale ale is delicious.
Sherwin, me and you are drinking on some
we need to tag them. When you guys post this, we need to tag Kona Brewing Company on Twitter or something.
Let's do it.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe get a sponsor shout out or something.
Let's do it. Maybe they'll give us a dime or two.
I think as much beer as we buy, they ought to.
No kidding. Sherwin, what did you make for us?
Well, you suffered from collateral damage today. I brought the Jim Beam White Label and the Diet Tonic.
That's right. So cheers, Mr.
Nice
Tommy
little
Joe.
crispy drink.
Always good to have Tommy on.
Yeah, cheers, fellas.
So, excuse me, I got a little burp there. Tommy, since the last time that we talked, you have, I'll say, started you up a little blog there, and you've got tons of attention. I was on cloud nine when I saw, I think it was Mark Martin who retweeted you and said, absolutely, this guy is talking, he's spitting truth right now, and media is giving you attention, all kinds of attention, not only good attention, but not trying to poke any wounds, but there's detractors or haters, and as podcast folks, me and Sherwin know all about. Once you get your face out there in the public, people are going to start hating it. But tell us about the reception you got and how it's been for you on the blog there.
It has been weird. It's weird. I've had a lot of people tell me, kind of under the radar, how much they like it, even if they can't say out in public that they like it. I've had just dozens of people come up to me at the racetrack, telling me they're enjoying it, and it's really, really, guys, it's humbling. Honestly, I did it. People keep asking me why I write the blog, and I can't really give them a good answer. I think it's just kind of something I enjoy doing. I kind of whatever feeling I've got for that week or that day, and I just want to kind of get it out there. And obviously, you're gonna have some people that agree with your point of view, and some people that don't. That's okay. I don't mind it. I've written some controversial stuff. I'm not going to act like I haven't. But the one thing I do think it started a lot of debate with people that love racing. And that's what I realized from writing it, is that all of us really just love racing. We want it to be great. We might have some different images of what that might be, but I think we all care about it a whole lot. And it's been fun hearing from so many people that read my blog and respect my opinion about things, which is something that I never thought a lot of these people would say. Guys like Mark Martin, that's so flattering. That's a guy that I've looked up to my whole life. That's a guy that's a NASCAR Hall of Famer, and He's a guy that reads my blog. He follows me on Instagram. I got a notification about that the other day. Mark follows me on Instagram. How weird is that? And it's just because I was able to kind of categorize my thoughts and write them down and put that blog out there and got the right people to look at it. So it's, like I said, it's just been flattering. It's cool. I enjoy doing it. And I don't plan on stopping doing it anytime soon.
That's awesome. You think it's kind of an introspective self-therapy kind of a situation for you? I mean, you actually put pen to paper quite well, but is that something that gives you some sort of release or self-satisfaction, or like I said, self-therapy or something like that?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's absolutely kind of cathartic in a way. Like our season has not gone very well, guys, and I'm actually in the post that I'm working on right now, which should be out sometime next week, and I wrote most of it on the plane ride back over here.
And real quick, where
can
everybody...
Little teaser there, by the way.
Yeah, where can everybody find that
at? They can find that at TommyJoeMartins.com/blog, and it should be up there sometime next week, early next week. And I'll always post a link to that on Twitter.
Yep, I'll be refreshing the webpage till I see it.
Okay, well, you guys are trying to butter me up here, but yeah, no, it's I don't know. I think it's helped. It's been a tough year. We've in my time in the race car, remember J.R. Hefner drove at Eldora, and even there we actually encountered some problems. J.R. was having such a great run. He was running third and had the exhaust fall off the stinking car and went a couple laps down and wound up finishing 15th. But we won our qualifying race there as a company, and that was a big deal for us. But we've just encountered so much trouble this year. And in my races, we've had 6 DNFs and 12 starts. And quite frankly, I don't really know what I've done wrong in the car yet to cause some of those problems. It's just been one thing or the other. And it's just really wears on you, when you're putting your heart and soul into it, and that this might be your only shot this year, maybe to make something happen in your driving career, and to have everything kind of just continually go the wrong way. It's been tough, but writing these posts and getting the feedback that I've gotten has been encouraging. Even the negative stuff, I heard that said about Kyle Busch a few years ago, and I guess it's the same thing with like wrestlers or whatever, even when they're hating on you, it still means they're paying attention.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I think out there, when I ran out there in 2014, we were having these same kind of troubles. Just nobody noticed, nobody cared, because I didn't put it out there for everybody to care about. So I think the one thing I've done this year is draw attention to a team full of guys and my dad and some people in this sport that maybe they needed to be focused on, and hopefully people can relate to it. And I think they have, and I think that's why it's gotten such support.
Well, it's pretty obvious through your writing that your emotion and your commitment couldn't be matched by anybody. You're all in on it, and I think that's why when people read what you write, they have a reaction to it, whether it's positive or negative, because it is fueled by emotion, and you put it on paper very well. So we've enjoyed reading it very much, and while it may be sucky to go through the stuff your team's going through, to put it very PG there, but I think you're going to end up being better for it, and we really appreciate you sharing those emotions.
Absolutely. Tommy, I would say I'd like to talk about this week a little bit, and I'm not trying to poke salt in the wound or anything, but I think it was 2 blogs ago, you talked about your last trip at Bristol.
Is that going to be my time frame from this point forward as a driver? If I'm just going to be known by the blog post at this point, that's fine. I don't mind it.
We won't know.
I'd rather be known by the results on the racetrack every once in a while, but yeah, I get you. Okay, so a couple blogs ago. Wait a second, I got to catch that in my mind. Go ahead, keep going.
No, and it's fun to keep up with you on that, and it feels like we're right in the middle of everything when you're talking about it. So maybe I'll adjust the way I say it there, but yeah, absolutely. I think it was two blogs ago, and you had talked about your last trip at Bristol, and as usual, another great post about a team like yours, a self-funded team that's and what you had done last time, and I know that last time you were at Bristol. What you had said, you would run like 2 practice laps, and it kind of got away from you. What were your goals going into this week with the truck and with the team?
All we were really trying to do was finish the race, get in the race and finish the race. That was really our goal. And I talk about that a little bit in the one that I'm writing right now. I feel like I was the main reason that we didn't accomplish either one of those goals. We in practice, we didn't have any real short run speed. Our Diamond Augusta Chevy was consistent, it just wasn't outright fast, So we were running times that put us seventh on the 10-lap average chart, which is pretty cool. We were ahead of guys like Ben Rhodes and some really fast trucks. So we were seventh out of 21 trucks that took 10 laps. So that was really cool to see that we were that consistent. But short run speed, we just didn't have it. And so in qualifying, I went out there and I think I overdrove it. Rather than just letting the tires do the work for me, I think I kind of stuffed it in there and really tried to force the action a little bit and wound up overdriving it, not running the time that we needed to run to make it in the top 27, and that put us on the bubble. And it wound up knocking out the 63 truck. Miller Brothers is a team a lot like ours. Jake Griffin was driving. He's a great young kid, and he's a good driver. And they wound up missing the race by about 0.02 of a second.
Wow.
They missed it by that much. They qualified 28th. They needed to qualify 27 to lock themselves in. And if they had qualified 27th, we'd have been on the trailer. So that's the margin of error that we've got in this thing right now. It is just so tight out there in the truck series. And because of our bad luck this year, we just haven't been able to have a lot of points to fall back on. So we knew that if we didn't get in the top 27, we'd be in trouble, and we wound up just barely skating out of it. There's a really funny picture of me talking to Claire Lang, basically right after I found out that we had made the race. And I'll post another one tomorrow. It's kind of the same one as I posted today. It's even funnier. My face is just very confused because I wasn't sure how we had made it in. I really thought we had screwed up. So, we made it into the race, and then I kind of had to calm myself down and say, you know what, just go out here and do a good job in the race, finish this thing, bring it home. Try to make it through the madness. Guys know how Bristol is. It's always wild. We just needed a clean race. We knew we might get some damage, so that wasn't going to be that big of a deal. We kind of knew going into it. I mean, it's Bristol, but the main goal was just to finish the race. And I had some contact with Stuart Friesen that I thought was pretty unnecessary. But really, that's not what ended our night. We had a power steering pump failure. Went back out there, tried to run a few laps, and just couldn't do it. I mean, I'll be man enough to admit there's no way I could drive around that racetrack without power steering. If you gave me the whole racetrack to work with, maybe. But how often at Bristol do you get the whole racetrack to work with? You got guys, left, right,
yeah,
behind you, so you're never by yourself, and there's no way that I could have done that for another 125 laps. I mean, there's just no way.
Yeah.
So, my arms were dying after I ran up there for about 7 or 8 laps. And on top of that, we weren't even maintaining minimum speed. I was having to try to stay out of the way of everybody. So it didn't make any sense. So we pulled it back in and parked it for the rest of the night. Wound up finishing 31st, and we're really disappointed by it. We had actually just got back on the lead lap. We were running 25th. It just got in the lucky dog. We had to battle real hard for it there. Felt like our car was coming to us. It was about 60 or 70 laps into it, and we really felt like, we were starting to kind of get into our groove where it was a long run. But just kind of went the wrong way. And it seems like that power steering pump was going to fail no matter what. So I'm frustrated with that contact with Stewart, but that's not what did it. It was the power steering pump, and that's a maintenance thing. And we just have no margin for error. Like I was saying, we're just we keep getting bit by snakes that you just don't see coming, and we're frustrated by it, just like all of our fans are.
Talk to us about, I've wanted to hear a driver perspective on the whole VHT thing, that rubber that they laid down on the bottom groove of the track to try to put two lanes back into the whole deal. And it looked like in the truck race, guys were, and I was talking to Sherwin about this, I said, guys were just turning on a dime on that bottom lane, and it was really neat to see, and wanted to see what your perspective was on that and what it felt like to you.
It was the weirdest thing, man. That VHT is a surface that's, it's a chemical that's laid down on drag strips. That's what a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
It's for launch boxes, to really give them grip, kind of that first little bit out of the launch box and down the racetrack. But when it's wet, it's basically ice. It's worse than ice. It's worse than oil. So it had rained the night before Wednesday night, so Tuesday night. We went out there for practice, and it was so slick. Even though the track was dried out and everything, it's still there. There had been nobody that ran on it, and so the trucks were the first practice. So we ran out, and everybody was running the top because it was so slick. I mean, you couldn't even touch it. Daniel Hemrick actually went out there, ran through it, and wrecked, like on his come-out lap. So that's how slick it was.
Yeah.
But as the day went on and the sun got to it, it started to kind of grip up a little bit. And so late in second practice, everybody started going down there to it, only with about 20, 30 minutes left. And everybody just started shaving off like a half a second from their time.
Jeez.
We picked up, we went from I think we ran a 16:20 was our best time in first practice. In second practice, we ran a 15:60 on 60-lap tires, and we were 30th.
Wow.
And so it was just, that's how much the track picked up. So it was just wild. Everybody was trying to dial it up and get ready for the race. But, I mean, how do you prepare for something in 20 minutes where the track's completely changed? So it was really wild. But it was the same way in the race. And it rained real hard. They got it dried out. It was slick at the beginning, and then it started to come in. And, so it was all over the place. But that VHT gave a ton of grip down there. I mean, it really did. And it opened up the bottom line. And I like it. Being able to run the bottom at Bristol. I don't want to just run in there and have to run the top. I don't want to be forced to run one line on a racetrack. I think NASCAR racing is better if you give the drivers a few options there, just like you saw in the Xfinity race tonight. Drivers had a few options. That low groove really wasn't there, but it was there if they had to. And I think it's better if you can get that low groove going for Bristol, and I think all the fans would agree.
Yeah, it was pretty good early in the race, even through almost a full tire run. But then we saw at the end there that on old, multi-cycle tires, the top groove was the only place to be.
Sure.
Did you expect that, or is that what you thought might happen?
Honestly, I really thought the bottom groove would stay in there a little bit better if you had asked me beforehand. I thought the bottom, based on our race the other night, I would have thought the bottom would have really hung in there pretty good because that was the spot to be for us. It was down on the bottom. You could hold somebody down there on the top lane, but you couldn't go all the way to the top like they did in that Xfinity race. They were running all the way up, trying to keep the momentum up, whereas for us, we kind of ran the middle. And in that Xfinity race, that was a no-go zone. That middle was basically off limits.
Sure.
So the tracks really changed a lot in 3 days. So it's interesting to see what it might do for the Cup race tomorrow.
There's some folks talking about should they, ought they go tonight and lay down some more of that VHT. From what I saw on the TV on the truck race, I mean, you could hardly tell the difference between the apron and the VHT stuff versus at the race tonight. Me and Sherman went to. We looked down on the track and it was almost all gone. It looked like. You think they ought to go out there tonight and lay some down?
I've seen on Twitter that debate going on. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know enough about the substance or the track or anything like that to make a comment on it, honestly. I think Bristol is better with a bottom groove. I'll say that. And so if that's what it's going to take in the short term to do that for tomorrow, I think that makes for a better race. It's not all or nothing. I mean, it's not like they have to pour an entire cement truck of the stuff down there on the bottom groove. They could probably put a little bit down and help it out. But I do think Bristol's a better race when everybody's fighting for the bottom. I think the fans enjoy that too.
I think you're right. I think one of the things that was really interesting to me is like Rusty said, is and I don't know if this is temperature or humidity related or what, but how dark it was for your race. You couldn't even see the difference between the apron and where you'd put the left side tires if you were hooking the bottom. And today it looked like the Bristol of old, where it looked like concrete all the way around. What I wonder is, did all the practice that we had today and the qualifying and everything else and then the race tonight, did we burn off whatever that chemical is? Because, it's a low molecular weight polymer that's designed to add a little bit of stickiness, but in its own right, it can be easily burned off if enough heat's put in there.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily if we burned it off so much as we just peeled it off,
Yeah,
and
you
got to think about how many laps have been. I mean, how many cars have gone around that racetrack here in the last 3 days? That's a lot of cars.
A bunch.
A lot we had the modified race as well. We had Cup practice, qualifying, Xfinity practice, qualifying. I mean, there's been a lot, and also the rain. There's been a lot of rain over there too, so you got that going on with it too. I think it's washed off a lot of it. Really, it was so thick there when we first showed up for truck practice. I mean, there was a ton of it. And it was actually worse because it had rained really hard Tuesday night, so that washed away some of it. So, what you're seeing right now is the result of a few days of really hard rain and a whole lot of laps.
Absolutely.
So speaking of kind of, I'll call it sort of equalizer stuff, did you catch that race last week at Mid-Ohio, and wanted to get your thoughts on running that race in the rain? It looked like I was so excited after Sherwin said, hey, Tommy Joe's going to call in at Bristol. I was like, I got to ask him about Mid-Ohio just because it looked like a racer's race as far as controlling the vehicle and I don't know how to say it, but but it looked like a racer's race to me. I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
I think I'm going to zig when you guys think I'm going to zag right here. Honestly. Okay. I think it was a ton of fun for everybody to watch. I'll say that. It was fun to watch.
Sure.
I think it was absolutely horrible to be involved with. I'll say that. I just don't think that these stock cars ought to be run in the rain. They're just not made for that, and we're trying to do some things to them to adjust them for rain racing. Put windshield wipers in them, defrosters in them, but they're just not made for that. And so we're making it where the guys in the cars can't really see anything.
Oh, did we lose Tommy? Well, it looks like we've officially lost him. Y'all, be sure to go to TommyJoeMartins.com, and Sherwin will get on there and go chat with Tommy right quick and make sure he knows that we unfortunately lost him there. But TommyJoeMartins.com/blog, and he's got all his thoughts on everything, and it sounded like he's got a new blog coming up here soon.
Yeah, he said he's already been writing on it.
Already been writing on it, which is really cool to have a guy out there that's really sharing. He's spilling his heart out on this thing, and like you said, people are coming up to him and saying, "Hey, we're totally in with what you're saying," and it's people who he's saying what other people can't say. You know what I mean, Sherman?
That's what it feels like. It feels like he's, because of the position he's in, racing for a family truck, and they're busting their butt, and they're doing things on a minimal budget and all that stuff. It feels like, he can speak his mind because he doesn't really have a whole lot to answer to. Like, he's done right by his sponsor, Diamond Gusset. He's doing right by his dad, and it allows him a little bit of leeway to talk about, how he feels about racing and how he feels about the way his team is positioned for success, or potentially, a lack of success, or where they fit in the pecking order because of, how much money they spend versus, what level of commitment they have in terms of number of people and how many mechanics and crew chiefs and all that stuff and car engineers they can afford and all that stuff. Like it just feels like he has a little bit more flexibility to tell us how he feels about what's going on because of the situation he's in.
Well, on top of that, I loved his answer about the Xfinity race in Mid-Ohio. Again, for the fans, it was so much fun to watch and to get that driver perspective of, yeah, it was really cool to watch, but, we're talking about tearing up cars, and nothing hurts a guy who is self-funded more than tearing up cars, and it's a perspective, that I don't really think about.
And tearing up cars for what appears to be no particular reason.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you pushed a position to get third instead of fourth because it pays $30,000 more. It's raining, and if I miss my line by a half a centimeter, I'm off in the damn ditch somewhere.
Yeah. So, that's really cool. I can't thank Tommy Joe enough to come on this podcast and talk to two wackos out here.
He's been extremely generous with his time.
And yeah, he absolutely has. So y'all be sure to follow him at Tommy Joe Martins and TommyJoeMartins.com/blog and catch his latest blog that sounds like he's writing right now. So it's going to be good. We know it will be.
We know it'll be posted this week. He told us that tonight. We're certainly appreciative of him sitting around by the phone and waiting to call in from Vegas. He's got a real job. He drives for the NASCAR experience at Vegas, and I think he's got a gig with Shelby one way or another in terms of giving fans the experience they might want riding in a race car with somebody who really knows what they're doing.
Yep.
So we appreciate TJM for sure.
And we're looking forward to what's next with him. So we'll see in his blog, and we'll see on the Twitter we're
going to stay up with him next. All along the way.
Absolutely.
I mean, I expect that we can have Tommy Joe on a pretty periodic basis. He's got a lot to offer. He's great for NASCAR fans. He provides a ton of introspective insight that you wouldn't normally be able to get.
And you can't get from nobody else. So thank you again to Tommy Joe Martins. Let's move to our regular segment, Tearing It Down. You ready to tear it down?
Let's tear it down. We're going to have to.
So Tearing It Down, I think one of the biggest stories coming out of this week, and I feel like I felt happy in that we talked with Matt Weaver 2 weeks ago about it and said, Matt, what does Hendrick need to do to catch up to what the development series is going on with like Gibbs and others? And 2 weeks later, what we hear is that William Byron has signed on with Hendrick, and it was like, holy cow, all right, this is the investment. This is where it starts. This is where the next guy comes along. I mean, I know we got Chase Elliott and all that, but, looking at what JGR's doing in the other series, seeing Hendrick start pulling people in, I thought it was really cool. I think it's great for every side of the whole ordeal. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing that we saw is, Toyota is so clogged. They've done such a good job with their talent acquisition and getting them into the programs like Kyle Busch Motorsports and Kyle Busch's K&N and his late model stuff. And that's where, sideshow or side secret, Kyle Busch is the one that finds most of these guys. Yeah. Because he's down there racing, and people are going to bitch all day long about Kyle racing in lower series. But you know what happens? A, he has fun. B, he finds kids that can race.
Mm-hmm.
And that is helping Toyota more than anything they could do on their own. And occasionally they're going to lose somebody. Now, William Byron, I believe, used to race a late model for Junior Motorsports before he went over to Gibbs to get in a truck, or to KBM, I should say. Yep. So he's kind of coming back, so this is not quite the same talent poaching that we've seen with Jeff Gordon 25 years ago, Casey Kane, 12, 13, 14 years ago, in terms of just straight up showing up with a bag of cash and going, why don't you come over here and hang out with us? So It's not quite that. But it's really cool from the perspective of now Junior Motorsports is going to get back to being able to develop a driver and a crew at the same time, which is what they did with Chase. That was the whole point.
Yep.
I mean, Ives developed so much, Greg Ives developed so much that when Steve Letarte decided to retire and go to the booth as a crew chief, Greg Ives graduated into being Dale Jr.'s crew chief.
Mm-hmm.
And he had won the Xfinity Series championship with Chase the year before. And they were both development crew chief, development driver.
Yeah. And we didn't want to keep Tommy on forever there, but that was one of the things that I wanted to talk to him about. And he had – sorry, I'm getting distracted here. But he had congratulated William Byron on getting that, and I wanted to get his perspective there. But we'll talk to him next time on that. Next thing is we talked about it a little bit with Tommy. Was Mid-Ohio. I know you were out for the weekend, Sherwin, but boy, Mid-Ohio,
New Orleans.
Hey, he was in New Orleans doing his thing down in the Big Easy. But I watched that race, and it felt like I, and I had said it to Tommy and tried to, I shouldn't say tried to, but accidentally kind of led the witness there, which I shouldn't have done, and he gave me a better perspective, which I thought was cool. But it felt like these guys that were sliding all over. I mean, people were wrecking every lap.
We're just driving off the track.
Yeah, way off the track. And not just off the track, but I mean, going full speed and just down into the ruts. And you're going –
into the tires, into the gravel
missed
pits.
That one. So I thought it was a very interesting race. I thought it was really fun to watch. We see on Twitter and you look at Jeff Gluck even went out of his way to post a poll on that race when he only ever does
Cup
races.
Yeah.
But he put one out there for that just to say, hey, what did y'all think of that one? And it was overwhelmingly positive.
Like 80% positive.
Yeah. So I thought it was really interesting to see that race, to see the positivity that people gave to it. And I thought it was a fun race.
I would love to watch it again from the perspective of, why don't you just focus on the things that are exciting about it? Because I have long been a poo-pooer of rain racing for stock cars.
Well, likewise.
And because for the most part, I mean, what Tommy was saying is they can't see. Nobody knows what's going on. Having the lead certainly has a tremendous advantage, even more so than it would be if it was dry. And it just doesn't. I mean, the race speed average was 55 miles an hour, by the way. They almost set a record low.
Well, they had like 32 out of 65 or 75 laps
of caution. Yeah. But even the green laps weren't very fast.
No, they weren't. They weren't.
So it's
really
like
fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, did you watch the whole thing for real?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, well,
I had a blast.
I wish I would have had a chance to watch it with you because, I mean, I was, we were busy doing the New Orleans bachelor party thing, and I just didn't get a chance.
I called over our esteemed producer, the Frizz 11, my wife, and I called her over and said, Serena, you got to watch this. I said, you don't have to, I don't call you over to watch many things or whatever, all the, sports crap that I watch.
Right.
But I'm like, you got to come over here and watch this. This is crazy. Watch these guys losing it. The leader will lose it. I mean, Bubba Wallace, I'm wearing Bubba Wallace's hat right now. Number 6, signed by Bubba Wallace.
Signed, personally. I watched it happen.
Yep. And I'm watching him in the lead, and he just drives it way off into the jump.
Straight into
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Into the stuff.
In the stuff.
And and I'm upset and pissed off and all that, but man, it was still it was really interesting to watch, and it felt like it was all right. Who can manage best between going fast and dealing with the elements that you're given?
Well, yeah, knowing how to hit each corner, knowing where like you're not going to hydroplane and where you might, and it's going to be a different spot that you brake and a different spot that you gas back up. Maybe you don't gas up at all. Maybe you coast the corner, but it's certainly not going to be the same line you take when it's dry. Mm-hmm. So it's like, who can adjust the best? Obviously, Justin Marks, who's raced there in a sports car and a Porsche, and maybe even a prototype, had raced there multiple times in the rain, and he knew the places you can go where it doesn't puddle. And, like, that was a huge deal because we saw drivers – I mean, even I saw the highlights where drivers would hit a puddle and then, off they go. they're in the weeds. Sam Hornish, I think, went off track about 6 times and still managed to finish second. So that tells you what kind of a poop show, that race might have been.
Yeah. So let's keep tearing it down. Let's move to the next one. And the next race other than truck race is the Xfinity race that we just got back from. And we
damn sure just watched the hell out of an Xfinity race that got weird at the end.
Well, and that's what I was going to say was we've talked about the VHT stuff with Tommy Joe. But let's talk about that finish. What in the world happened? Brad Keselowski up in the lead. Me and Sherwin are talking back and forth during the race saying, Brad's not the fastest guy out there, but he's the guy up front right now. Well, and there's 3 guys behind him that can make a pass, and they just got to find some grip somewhere. And they gotta have a great restart. And then all of a sudden, Brad runs out of gas, which I've never heard of it at Bristol.
At Bristol, You don't have fuel mileage races at Bristol.
Right.
Evidently, we do now.
Now we do.
Well, the thing is about Brad, everybody knows Brad, and one of the reasons why people don't like Brad is he's a cerebral racer, and a lot of race fans don't like that because they don't understand that the calculation that goes on in terms of. Brad thinks every single lap about where he's going to put his car to see if he can keep Kyle in just a tight enough position to not get by him.
Yep.
Well, then Kyle finally does, but Brad holds his line, and Kyle moves up thinking he's cleared, and boom, Kyle's in the fence. And then that happened down the backstretch, the center of the backstretch, and Ty Dillon didn't hit Kyle until deep into turn 4.
Yep.
That's how fast things happen at Bristol because of the banking and the speed, and it's such a small track and all the things. So, I mean, we saw all that happen, and then under that caution, Brad pulls down on the apron and goes, I'm out of gas. And he's like, I've been shaking the hell out of it trying to keep fuel in it, but we're out.
That was crazy.
And it just changed the whole complexion of the race.
They were 3 wide at one point. Brad and Kyle, and was it other Kyle too? 3 wide.
Yeah, Larson.
Lead.
Yeah,
I had my hand on top of my hat, just going, "What in the world?
What is going on around here?"
But plus a bunch of other 4-letter words.
It was the best 6 or 7 laps of racing that I think I've ever seen at Bristol.
It was
and
crazy.
this is like 9 years in a row for us.
Yep.
For this race, and I think 6 or 7 seeing the Xfinity race too.
Yep.
And we haven't seen anything like this. The three cars that broke away from the pack and were just all over each other for 6 to 10 laps before, ultimately Kyle makes the blunder of moving up too quickly and gets into the fence off of Brad's bumper. And who knows what we're going to hear about tomorrow with how all those different people are going to talk about it. Can't wait to hear what super smart person Ty is going to say about it. Couldn't get slowed down and smashed into Kyle.
We'll see.
And tore his car up because he had a chance to win too. And then his older brother ends up winning.
It's crazy. Yeah. What a race. What a race. We were standing up the last 20 laps.
All of it. Last 20 laps we were standing up.
It was crazy. So let's gas it up.
Let's gas it back up.
Time to gas it back up.
Throw the gas on the fire.
Let's gas it up. Hey, we got in here, and we as we talked about the last time we were here, y'all, this is our second time doing this at the racetrack at Bristol.
This is the 1-year anniversary of our first campground podcast.
Yeah, it's our second annual campground podcast at Bristol Motor Speedway. And first time we talked about our story with what we called Fat Ass Pizza.
Fat Ass Pizza.
And sure enough, the fellas were right back out there. I don't either Fat Ass, he's lost some weight or he's not there anymore. But good for him.
I think it was a different dude.
I think it was a different dude, but they sold us some pizza. Maybe we'll call him Skinny Pizza.
Skinny Pizza. Skinny Ass Pizza.
Yep. And so we got us our pizza. We came back to the campsite and dialed up old Tommy Joe on the whatever deal we're calling this thing here.
I don't know. It's not the Tweeter box and it's not the Facebook box. It's the something else box.
Yeah,
We had a little bit of the connectivity issue, but we'll have Tommy back on air before you know it.
Yeah. Bristol VHT tonight. What do you think? Do it or don't?
If I'm playing my my aggressive card, I'm saying, yeah, let's do it. Let's put some back down.
Sure.
Do you think I think it's gone.
Do you think they will?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
We're on the same page. I was hoping we'd disagree on something so we could. We're sitting real close to each other, so I might slap fight him or something.
Really close.
Trying to use one microphone.
Jiu-jitsu happening.
Right. So I agree. I don't think they're going to. I think it would be very interesting, and I would totally support them doing it. And we've got our periscopers saying,
I think the problem is,
loud they won't.
I think the temperature and the humidity would probably, if they employed, a good chemical engineer to help make the decision of should they or should they not. So one thing they would have to do is they'd have to strip the rubber off, which would be hard to do.
Probably too much work.
And then they'd have to lay it down and get it to cure. And the dew point tonight is whatever the temperature is right now, because it's 100% humidity right now. I mean, it's nice and cool, but it's still 100% humidity.
If I walk to the Porta John and back, I'm going to be sweating.
Right. Well, that and everything you touch is going to be wet.
Yeah. So
that makes it hard to cure a hydrophobic chemical like VHT, because you need very low moisture environments to make that work.
So our gullets are full of Fat Ass Pizza. We're pretty sure they're not going to do any VHT stuff. It's time to start picking.
Oh, hell. Do we have to pick?
We have to pick. We didn't do it last week. We got to pick now. I know.
I didn't even look at where everybody qualified.
I didn't either.
Okay, well,
and we listened to
on the blind. Yeah, we did. We listened a little bit.
Well, Denny Hamlin set a new track record, didn't he?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I'll start. How about that? I'll
start. Are we doing a dark horse too? Or are we just doing a race?
I wouldn't even know where to start with a dark horse. Right?
Yeah, whatever.
So
we're doing a dark horse.
Why not?
That'd be funny.
Why not? I'm gonna go with Brad. And the reason is because he had a strong performance tonight, and he raced tonight. We already said he wasn't necessarily the fastest guy out there, but he
knows what the track's doing.
He held
same
the
tires.
line. Yep, he held the line longer than anybody, and I think it being a fuel mileage thing for him was a total fluke. I think he tomorrow night will be able to make up for that, and I think he got some good practice in at this race. I'm feeling Brad on this.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to go with not such a different pick. I'm pausing while I think.
Okay.
I apologize.
We got on the Periscope real quick before you say anything.
Is anybody over there?
We saw 42 _
the
updates.
Larson updates. Yeah.
Says the 42 car will win. So, golf clap. I appreciate the.
Oh, you know what? I got to give a shout out to a former manager friend of mine. He's definitely rooting hard for Larson because his company is going to be all over the 42 car.
Yep. Our good friend Deputy Hines says Joey, and I saw Marcette saying Harvick, trust me.
Trust me, yes.
So,
I love the passion.
Yeah, I love Yep.
So I wanted to pick Joey to be 2 years in a row for the night race, but I'm just not going to be able to do that. I think I'm going to sort of go on the back burner a little bit, but not really. I'm going to go with Matt Kenseth.
Kansas.
I'm going to go with Kansas to win tomorrow night. And if I got to pick a dark horse, we'll say, dark horse is, will he finish in the top 10? I think Blaney might sneak his way into the top 10.
Okay. I'll go with, I don't know if he's even a dark horse anymore. He won a race this year. Chris Buescher. He had a good qualifying effort early on. He was making some good laps.
And we heard he's getting A motors from Roush Yates engines now.
Yeah, so maybe I'm, what do we call it, picking under caution there?
No, it's fine.
But, he's I think that's that'll be my dark horse right there, Chris Buescher. And I'm going Brad to win.
Brad to win, Buescher to place, and I'm going Kenseth and Blaney.
Perfect. I think it's about time to close it out then. I hate it.
Wow, so we did all the stuff.
We've been talking to Tommy. We've been tearing it down. We've been gassing it up.
We didn't bring any of our damn jelly beans.
We did not bring jelly beans. We can't do the closeout challenge, but we can definitely
close it out.
We can definitely close it out. Y'all, you know where to find us, PETMpodcast.com. We've got us a little shout-out today. A couple folks, Seth Eves and Matt Owens, are doing the ESN NASCAR podcast.
Oh, we didn't do Strange with Stang yet.
We didn't. Let's get to it in just a second. We'll do this shout-out right here.
Let's do it, yeah.
Seth Eves at SportsJunkie94. And Matt Owens, I'm sorry I didn't pick up his
no, it's
handle.
at 24M Owens.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Wonder who he's a fan of.
Maybe Jeff
24?
Gordon. I don't know.
Or
perhaps.
But so those fellas, they're doing a podcast out there. It's a NASCAR fan podcast, a lot like what we're doing. Those guys are awesome, introspective. It's great to have another being able to hear some other folks in the space. Really cool. So y'all go follow them. But you're right, we do have a couple questions.
Yeah, we have like two Strange with Stangs.
Okay, so Strange.
And we have also one from Jason Woodham.
So help me remember, but our Strange with Stang tonight. So our good friend
I may have to
Ashley
whoop it up
Stang,
here on the phone.
Well, I think I remember it. And she said, would you rather, and this is to us, would you rather climb a flagpole at Bristol and stay on the top of it, and you had to stay on the top of it for the entire race, so 500 laps.
So flagpole, we climbing up one of these freaking Colossus, what are we calling that big hanging scoreboard thing?
The
right?
Colossus, yep.
Yeah, so those towers are really tall. So,
now here's the difference, though.
Where's the flagpole at?
She said flagpole.
Those things are taller than any flagpole I see.
My answer will differ because here's the thing: I'm not exactly afraid of heights. So if you want me to climb up one of those structures and sit on the top of it and watch a race, I'll do that.
Yeah, you've sat on the edge of the North Face.
Yeah.
I've seen you do it.
Yeah,
from a picture.
I got no problems with that. But she said climb up to the top of the flagpole and try to stay up there for the entire duration of the race for $200 million.
For a chance at $200 million.
Yeah. Or play strip poker between you and me for $500.
For guaranteed $500.
Guaranteed $500. Well, here's the thing.
Well, we used to live together. So strip poker's like, I mean, let's be honest here.
So I was going to say, me and Sherwin have known each other.
We've been entirely too drunk either in the evening or in the morning, and those things happen.
Well, now be careful.
I don't mean those kind of
you're
things.
saying.
I mean, like, did you just stumble out of bed naked? Yeah, my bad.
Right. I was going to say we've been college fraternity roommates. We've been friends for 15 years, and we hang out at these campsites. I mean, I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's just.
I've seen Sherwin stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean,
it's locker room kind of stuff.
You know, exactly. So, so the fact is, I can't climb a flagpole.
I cannot climb one.
And I sure can't sit at the top of one. So the $200 million is out. Sitting here next to him playing strip poker, I've already seen all the stuff, and you gonna give me $500 to do it?
I mean,
I'm in.
That sounds like an easy $500.
Yeah. The joke's on y'all. I just made $500.
I think I'm going to clean the 500.
Yep.
Because you didn't say I had to win strip poker.
Hey, you didn't say
I just had to play.
You didn't say I had to look either. Like I mean.
So what was the one she asked about? Like what the listeners?
Listeners, it was. This is for the PETM posse. This is for everybody listening in.
Yeah.
And y'all go on the Twitter box and tell us what you think. And the question was, if you had to be stuck on a deserted island with either me or Sherwin, tailgate mayor or pregame engineer, who would it be? And more importantly, why?
More importantly, why? Yeah,
that's right.
What y'all have to do is y'all have to go either tweet about it or DM about it or whatever, and we don't care. You can make fun of it. Doesn't matter which one of you. Somebody's catching a ration of poop. What was the one we got that was like, can you outrun? Which one do you use faster in a sprint?
Yeah, which one?
Because it was like a zombie apocalypse deal. Because like I run like a solid 6'4", 20. Like I can run 20 yards in about 6 seconds. 0.2.
See, and I just give up after it. Like, what's your 40? Oh, I gave up after 30.
I don't
know.
40. Who runs 40?
Who's doing that?
Like. What are we talking about?
So anyway, what was our other question?
Jason Woodham asked us something. Let me look it up real quick.
I'm
sorry.
No,
I'm sorry to keep y'all hanging on.
We're having fun.
No,
so
it's good.
We got a good question in.
Oh, here it is.
Jason Woodham.
Is VHT the new PED for tracks that only have one groove? And by PED, of course, he means performance enhancing drug. So is the sealant they laid down, or the grip agent they laid down, is that the new performance-enhancing drug for one-groove racetracks? The answer is, I think we're discovering that NASCAR needs to learn a little bit more about how to use it, because it feels like it's gone.
Yeah.
It
feels like
gone. Bristol will test negative for VHT tomorrow.
Right. You need to up your dosage and get a little more in there. I don't think PED necessarily. I think that's a strange comparison.
Oh, it's a hilarious comparison to
hilarious.
UFC and football and everything else.
Sure. So, I don't, that doesn't go in the cheater mark for me, but it's an interesting thought in terms of.
Well, does NASCAR cheat, Rusty? Are you trying to say NASCAR is the cheater?
Yes. Cheaters! We know that.
Well, they're trying to get butts in the seats, which they did not have tonight. And this campground is not a good example of what we'd like to see here. Hopefully they'll roll in deep tomorrow.
Yep. So anyway, y'all, appreciate the questions. Stranger Stang, as always. And Jason Woodham, y'all are the best. Thank you for sending in those questions. And let's start closing out, man.
All right, man.
You know where to find us. It's PETMpodcast.com or on Twitter at PETM Podcast. As always, I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace at Tailgate Mayor.
And I'm Andrew Sherwin at Pregame ENG.
And we
love y'all.
We will talk to y'all next time. It's Bristol, baby!
Thumbs up!